Okay, everybody, let's get started and make sure you have or retrieve trusty towel roll. I always use my beach towel because it's bigger and I can make a pretty beefy roll about 30 inches wide, 2 feet wide, and then maybe 3 or 4 inches in diameter, but it's squishy. And we're going to work quads and mid-back a bit. Then you might want to strap in case it's more challenging for you to do extended leg poses, which we'll also do, keeping the integrity of your spine. And as most of you know, I have been advocating a resistance against forward folds, counter resistance back, rather than just collapsing into a heap. So that's on the docket, and it all begins with finding your breath, finding your center, and you can certainly elevate yourself either on your trusty towel roll or on a block or cushion and come to easy seat, Sukhasana. And then just roll the hips forward as you arch the spine like a cow pose. On inhale and exhale, roll back, whether you're on support or not, and just feel the pelvic tilt back and forth and the rest of the spine moving in tandem. Work this into your breath cycle so the inhale takes you forward and exhale back. So again, if I were mimicking a cat and cow, I'd roll forward, arch, roll back, round a bit. But it's more of an action happening from the sacrum and lower core muscles. So we're just gently waking them up and connecting them to the breath. Simple exercise. Keep the throat relaxed, the jaw relaxed. And as you exhale, begin to make a sound which you can capture in the back of the throat, or you can expel. Now, one of the other basic premises of yoga is you rock and roll here on your seat, coming into longer strings of breath, filling the lungs open and fill, rib cage open and fill. Maybe even holding the top of the inhale briefly, and then the movement changing as the exhale occurs, and maybe a pause at the end of the exhale. So you can move, and most people in class today are old hands, in the best use of the word, veterans of yoga practice. You can move from the 2-part breath cycle to the 4-part. Inhale, and then just suspended animation of movement. Pause, exhale, outflow, pause. And I read a fun article, we'll just do a few more of these, pranayama, kumbhaka movements. I read a fun article online, and you see these things, saying that I don't know, it was Navy SEALs or somebody, use this special breathing technique to keep them from getting anxiety-ridden or panicking during their high intensity missions. And it's called the box breath. And so what you do is you break the breath into 4 pieces. They didn't acknowledge yoga at all. But there you have it, reappropriation, old techniques, I don't know if I could go in for the box metaphor, but in any case, I'm using a little bit. Then inhale, coming up and keeping a little bit of extension, taking a twist now over to the right, left hand on right knee. And then continue to breathe, but billow out your elbows, open up your armpit ribs, and keep the solidarity of the sit bones to the ground, plugging them in, pushing them down, and then just breathing in the spiral sheet. One more inhale, maybe a little look over your right shoulder. Exhale, simple rotation. The other side, inhale, lift, rock the hips forward. Exhale, rock back, consolidate pelvic floor lift of Mula Bandha, and then let the breath keep flowing. So once you've started the flywheel of the breath, the trick is to keep it moving and keep it informing as a source of intuitive intelligence, every shape, every movement that you make. And that's a tall order. But let's see what we can do. And we're going to come to hands and knees now. I'm going to take our towel roll and place it just in front of our knees, so it's kind of waiting for us. And if you don't have one, you could take a couple of blocks. Inhale, arch, exhale, curl here. And as you do several of these, keep the breath long and perhaps still acknowledging or observing the possible four pieces. As you inhale, keep the collarbones open, the inner armpits lifted. As you exhale, look down and gently press the tops of the feet into the mat. Protract the shoulder blades. A few more times. And any organic movements, rounding the shoulders, looping around the shoulder, individual shoulder that feel good here, feel free to take them. If you have injuries, it's always better, however, to stay on the front and back, the longitudinal plane. Then we're going to tuck the toes under, start to drop back. Start to drop back with our toes under child's pose. And you could use your towel roll to place your head. Inhale, come up. Now take a peek. I'm going to reach under my yoga mat with my first four fingers, not my thumb, and slide my hands under the yoga mat like this. And as I sit back again, I'm going to gently pull the width of the yoga mat apart, right up the arms, and spread the shoulder blades across the back. Feel that action of just broadening the fascia along the mid-back. Drop the forehead to the towel, to the ground, and breathe. So we have action going on now. We're providing some work, some eccentric contraction, some opening, but can you keep the breath interplaying with the action? Can you keep the steadiness? Can you keep the stira sukha? Then we come up and we're going to take our towel roll in front of our knees and just place our frontal hip bones down so that the towel roll is half on the frontal hip bones, half into the lower belly. So mine's just kind of touching my belly button and I come to easy cobra. I can take a peek at my feet and try to make sure the feet are parallel. You can push the knees into the mat, lift the chest. But once you've sorted out the particulars and made your body comfortable, pushing the forearms forward a little, the tailbone slides back and down, then consolidate the actions with the breath. Because the breath is the universal adjuster. And then we're going to take the elbows out, take the head down, slide the hands back under the shoulders, lift halfway toward cobra, elbows stay bent. Exhale, scoop the belly in, come back to child's pose, head on the bolster again. Then inhale up to hands and knees. And now we're going to do an advanced movement. You can omit the towel roll if you want, or keep it there, it doesn't matter. Instead of just cat and cow, we're going to go back into our toes under child's pose. Inhale, with a rounded spine, come up to hands and knees. Exhale, the heart blossoms, the head looks forward, cow pose, and you start to drift back with the hips. Inhale, head drops, shoulders, armpits lift, to being lifted. You drift shoulders over the hands. Exhale, look forward, look up, and then drop back. Inhale. So you can see what I'm doing, waving, using the breath and the spine in a giant wave. Those that are more advanced, as you drop back, tap the earth with the forehead, and then inhale, rounding. We call this the buffalo move on my own. Maybe your exhale takes you forward toward a cobra pose. You tap the ground with your head, inhale through cobra again, exhale back. Inhale, rounding forward and laying the frontal hip bones all the way down around the towel roll. So this would be the more advanced or more range of motion practice. Okay, so let's take our towel roll now, walk our hands back to our knees and drop it behind our knees and our calves and just sit on the towel roll. And then we're going to shift from left to right and we're going to massage the calves. You can inhale the center, exhale, little C curve of the spine. So as the hips go over to the right, head can look down at that left shoulder. Inhale the center, almost like the little mermaid in Copenhagen sitting on the rock. And kind of looking down. At the mermaid's tail. So let's take the blanket roll now behind the feet. Come to hands and knees, tuck toes under. Inhale, exhale, down dog, stomping on your towel roll, squishing grapes. I just say that because my towel roll's purple, appropriately, in the south of France. And I can bend my knees, inhale, and exhale, straighten the legs. Toes and toe mounds on the ground, but the arch of the foot is being supported or reminding the arches of the feet to elevate. And it also helps those that can't get the heels all the way to the ground, even though we did just massage the calves. Now, can you take your toes out, pigeon toe, not pigeon toe, duck foot, duck toe, the toes out, walk the hands back to the feet, bend the knees into a squat on your towel roll at the back of the mat. Think like a frog. So now or a little bird on a perch. Now I'm going to hang out on my towel roll, malasana. Maybe I take the palms together and create some attenuation between the inner knees and the elbows. And once again, I can feel the fascia between the shoulder blades being attenuated, just like when we grab the mat and try to pull it apart. So I promise the mid-back. I also promise the quads. Okay, so now we can walk the hands forward and come back up to downward dog. We're going to lift our right leg back to three-legged dog. And if you've got a wall like I do, I'm going to put my toe down right on the wall and use it to start to lengthen them out of the shoulders. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, kick back. Exhale, knee to nose. And as you shift the shoulders forward, and by the way, this could be done on hands and knees. As you shift the shoulders forward, hug the elbows together. Last time, and then we'll switch. And up comes the left leg. You go to the wall if you want. Inhale, lengthen out of the shoulders. Exhale, knee to nose, looking between the thumbs. Again, too hard on your shoulders or hips or low back. Do this hands and knees. Extend, extend. And then come back to downward dog, drop down to hands and knees again. Kick out your toes and set them now, the tops of the feet on the top of the towel roll. Child's pose. And see if you can feel as you get into this. So again, the tops of my feet are on the towel roll. You drop in your child's pose, that you're able to pull the toes and curl them onto the towel roll, like under the towel roll. So it's the reverse plantar flexion action of the feet. Like, again, if you have a mermaid's tail, you're kicking your tail. So it produces a wave in your spine. Once again, like we had before, as we inhale, we come up with a rounded spine. So take a peek. And as I hook the tops of my toes on that towel roll, I'm going to lay all the way down onto my belly, shoot one elbow forward, the other elbow forward. So I'm on my feet. I'm going to pull my feet up like this to show you my tail. And I'm going to push down. And I should call this class mermaid yoga. I'm going to pull the feet up, the toes can touch, and exhale, press down. So we're doing essentially leg curls. So can you feel the attenuation of the backs of the legs? And then exhale, you press, maybe even your knees come off the ground. Go easy if your low back is saying, what are you doing to me? Super important exercise to coil the hamstring muscles to keep them working. More later. But we've got to be able to coil these hammies to stretch the quads. So let's clamshell the forearms and see if we can reach back with the right hand and just grab that right foot and then square the chest off. And then start to push the right knee away from us. Breathe. Do what you can. Again, working into the quad stretch, working into the psoas stretch, and we find a level of attenuation that works. Switch, reach back, left arm, left leg, square off, and breathe. Now the extended leg, the right leg, still working. It's still curling the toes around the towel roll. But let's save Dhanurasana for later. Let's take our heads to the ground. Let's take our hands behind our shoulders, roll the shoulders forward like a big shrug, creating that buffalo shaped back. Lift up from rounded back like a cat pose. Exhale, child's pose saves you from despair. Inhale, halfway up, walk the hands on the diagonal over to the right and drop the head. Again, if you've got the towel roll, I'm trying to show you a subtlety here that a lot of people don't know. I'm pulling the toes back, tops of the feet are on the towel roll, I'm pulling the toes back into the towel roll. And that's going to make a really nice, forgive me for saying so, toe hold as we walk the hands to the other diagonal, drop in. But it's not all about the reaching of the upper body. The little toe action of just coiling the tops of the toes back into that towel roll pulls the hips back. Interesting how the feet can just have such a profound effect. But let's walk our knees forward and sit back with the toes tucked under in toes pose for a second and do the counteraction pose. Now, if this hurts your fascia on the bottom of your feet or your toes, you modify. Maybe you have to put your hands forward like this. And of course, the real show-offs can just pop up and lift their knees and balance here on your toes. All the ex-ballerinas in the group. But don't massacre your feet fascia as yet. Just warming up those lower leg shins, and up we come to down dog and see if we can get the heels down now. Maybe, maybe not. And then walk, step, jump, feet to hands. Hands to shins flat back. Again, kind of semi-round the upper back. Look at your knees, draw your belly in. And then forward fold. Again, round the back, this time bend the knees to come up through chair pose. See me hanging out like a marionette here and pulling from the core muscles. And then the upper body blossoms, palms to heart. Okay, so we're going to do a little flow now. We've kind of warmed up. And we haven't done it too much recently, so you might need to take a peek. The main hallmark of this is a somewhat fun move into an extension, a cobra-like extension with the chin on the ground, just to prepare you. Let's try it and see how it goes. Inhale, chair pose, and exhale, forward fold. Right foot back, crescent lunge, inhaling. Exhale, hands to the ground, feet together, and drop your knees down. Now here's the trick. I'm going to glide through. I'm going to pull my elbows together, knit my frontal ribs together. I'm going to see if I can just set my chest down lightly like this with my butt up in the air. And then I slide up through the cobra pose. Remember the toes scraping along the imaginary towel roll, pulling back. And then I drop back, toes under child's pose, downward dog. I lift my right leg high, three-legged dog. Inhale, extend out of the arms, extend out of that right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Take a few hops if you need to. You can have hands on blocks. Inhale, come up to your crescent lunge. Now watch as I forward fold, I'm going to bring the back foot to the front foot. And I just fold. Inhale, come up with a rounded spine, knees bent, chair pose. Exhale, relax the jaw, tongue, the throat. Drop the hands, inhale, scoop into the belly, chair, sit as low as you want to go. Pull the belly and the knees back. Exhale, fold. Plank pose, step the feet back. Lower down on your knees. Go through the arms again. Cobra pose, simple. Child's pose, toes tucked under. Inhale, scoop the belly and lift up to downward dog. Here we go again now. This time the left leg lifts. Inhale. Exhale, lunge. Bring the arms up to crescent lunge. Take the hands to the earth. Left foot to right. Drop the knees. And here's this tricky move. I'm going to pull or hug the elbows in like I'm on a little ball. Just keep the butt up in the air. Keep the head down. If you can't take your chin up, you just take your forehead down. And then kick the legs out, lift, and roll back. Take a breath or two in child's pose or come right up to downward dog. You're going to lift that left leg up again. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. Come up to your crescent lunge. This time as you fold, that back foot, the right foot just joins the left foot and we forward fold. Done a complete cycle. Let's try it again. Bend the knees, come up through chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, standing. Arms fall. First side, inhale, chair pose. Belly draws in, arms high. Exhale, release. Step your right foot back. Crescent lunge or warrior one if you prefer. It's more balanced. Reach high. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you need to drop your back knee down to get there, it's fine. But we bring the feet together, the knees down. Then see if you can lay the chest down and lift up to cobra. Pull the tops of the toes into the mat. Exhale, toes under, child's pose. Spread the fingers, spread the shoulder blades, lift up to down dog. Right leg lift, inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. Take a few hops if you need to. Hug the inner thighs. You can bend the back knee, press it. Coming out of it, the back foot is going to just join the front foot. So maybe you're working with a chair in front of you like this. You just take the feet together. It's fine. Forward fold. Then the knees come up through chair. Inhale. Exhale. Relax the jaw, the tongue, the shoulders. Other side. Arms drop. Inhale. Scoop the belly in. Exhale, fold. Back goes the left foot. Warrior one or crescent, your choice. Inhale, you reach high. Now again, if you have difficulties getting up and down because you've got a sore body or back, you can descend down to low lunge before you come to your high plank. Doesn't matter. We're going to drop our knees down. And now watch, I'm going to cow pose my body. Maybe you're just doing this. Maybe you're like, Dan, I can't touch my chin to the ground. Doesn't feel good. So maybe you just go halfway down like this. Those that can, however, full plant. Chest, chin, then kick the feet out. Curl the toes to the mat. Bhujangasana, exhale, toes under, child's pose. Wave action up to downward dog. Left leg lifts, inhale. Three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. Take a few hops if you need to. Maybe you're working on blocks. Maybe you're working on chair. Inhale, come up. And remember, the dismount is easy in this time because either hands to ground, chair, wherever, and we just take the right foot to the left and forward fold. Scoop the belly and bend the knees like a marionette being pulled up from its belly. Then the mid-back and the head lift. Exhale. Clear the palate. This is called Sun Salutation C, by the way. I'm trying to offer modifications for you. So one more time, then we move on. Inhale. Draw the hips down as the breath comes into the belly. Exhale, fold. Right foot back. Could be a warrior one, heel in. Could be crescent, your choice, really. Classically crescent. Now, a plank pose. Front foot to back, knees drop. Again, hug the inner elbows together. Come forward, arch, like cow. Strength building, but you're getting the shoulders to neutral. Laying the chin and the chest down offers a kickstand. Then the legs extend back. The toes grab the mat. Contract the backs of the legs. Take your time. Now we reverse the curve. Tailbone scoops under. Toes scoop under. Extend to child's pose. Come up. Looking back at your feet to downward dog. Right leg high, inhale. Project through the fingertips. Project through the back heel. Exhale, lunge. Take a few hops if you need to. Soften the back knee. Bend that left knee to come up. Inhale, reach high. Hands to block, to chair, whatever. Left foot joins. Right leg. Right foot. Forward fold. Bend the knees. Cat belly in. Chair pose. Exhale. Find the center line. One more side, then we'll move on. Inhale, chair pose. Scoop the belly in, scoop the hips down, shoulders relax. Exhale, forward fold. Mula Bandha engages. Left foot back, your choice of warrior one or crescent. Crescent will keep the hips more honest. So, your chaturanga. Hands go to blocks or ground. Front foot to back, you can immediately drop your knees down. Cow pose. And then we try to come forward. And don't just try to come in front of the, or behind the thumbs like that. You got to move the chest forward. Kick the toes out. Straighten the legs. Contract the backs of the legs. Things are warming up, maybe. Reverse the curve of the lumbar. Lift up, downward dog. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, lunge inside the left hand. Bend the back knee a little bit. Cut yourself some slack. Come up to crescent, inhale. And then as you fold, hands to blocks, chair, whatever works for you. Then you can just pop the back foot to the front and forward fold. And the knees come up through chair. Exhale, standing. Samastitihi. Step out to the side swing as we did last week. Swing and wring it out. And now we're going to move on to those quad stretches and twists and back bends that I promised. So hopefully that warmed you up a little bit. And the notion that I've always proposed is that to move into a back bend, first, it's better to have this roundedness of the spine. Right? I don't just jam everything back. I draw the shoulder blades apart, and then, the upper body sinks. Okay, so similar start to the sequence, and then we move on. Inhale, chair, sitting as low as you want. Knees pulled behind toes, so you can peek at the toes, preferably. And then fold. Right foot back, crescent lunge. And now we're going to place the hands on the front knee, push to lift the chest, and slowly with control, drop that back knee, that right knee down. You can pat it with your towel roll. In fact, I would recommend everybody takes the towel roll now just in front of that right knee. Hands to left knee, inhale, then exhale. You can just let that top of that quad come onto your towel roll. Go easy. You take your right hand to your low back like this. Come in and out of it and just monitor the contraction, the compression in that right low back. Inhale, come out, exhale. So it's the same thing if I were doing my wave action rounded spine. Inhale, exhale my extension. Pelvis under, pelvis forward. Now, you could be working deeper with your hands both inside your front foot, your left foot like this, or on blocks. Lizard lunge, whatever you want to call it. So this is an option for some people. Others stay up on your knee. And as you sink in for 5 breaths into this pretty deep psoas, hip flexor stretch, monitor the left hip, drag it back a little bit. In fact, we can kind of peek to the left over the left knee. And we can even take our left hand to our left knee and look over in that left direction. That's going to help square the hips, drag the left hip back, right hip forward. Those that want to go further, reach back with your left hand, grab your right foot. And now your quad is on that towel roll, singing the Hallelujah chorus, or maybe something not as happy. So be careful. And then we're going to square off with the hands, either on blocks, fingertips, and look at our left toes with admiration. Tuck our right toes under and start to come into commonly called pyramid pose, but formally Parsva-Tanasana, forward fold over front leg. So quad engaged, pulling up like sliding pair of knee socks high up the legs. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Now, if you have fingertips down or hands on blocks, crawl the fingertips with the hands on blocks forward, like you're reaching for a piano that's far in front of you. Lift your armpits and drop your head within the arms. Pressing with the fingertips or pressing on the blocks to get the weight equal in both sets of feet. Wherever you are, walk your fingers back alongside the front foot. And take your right hand to your hip and start to open to Trikonasana. So a lot of you may need to slide your left hand up your shin like this, or be on a block. Now we're going to just Gingerly rotate from the mid-back. Plug into the back heel. And then maybe reach up high with it right here. Hand to hip again, look down. You're either going to take your hands down again and just step your back foot to your front foot like we did in the series, or you can slide forward with your left hand on a block or the ground, bend your front knee, take a little hippie hop into half moon pose. Optional. Attenuate your outer legs to your outer hips. And then the feet come together for everybody, forward fold with the feet spaced apart, head drops, knees bent, and your choice of hand position. So if you can get to Padahastasana with the feet under the hands, and step on your hands. And the upper spine can be lengthening but relaxed. The head, relax. You can shake it. Let the weight of the head stretch out the spine. The weight can roll forward. Eventually from the heels to the palms. And then we release the hands if they're under the feet. We bring the feet together. Bend the knees. Keep the head down. Come up like a marionette. Chair pose. Exhale. Standing. Other side. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Left foot back. Crescent or warrior one, your choice. And then we take the hands to the front knee, the right knee, and slowly lower back knee down. So some of you are saying, well, I'm going to get some exercise here and go up and down. Do whatever you like. But once you get down there, take that towel roll and just press it right into your front of your left knee like that, and then sink. Kick the toes out, and maybe you inhale, come up, exhale, you sink. If you're not feeling the towel roll, you got to punch it up and make it bigger. Some people use a block. That can be a little harsh on the knee. You can also use a block towel roll combination like that, and that can feel really good. And last, you sink down into this quad stretch, and maybe you stay up high with your hands on your knee. Maybe you take one hand to the ground or both hands inside that front right foot. You work it low to keep the hips honest, to keep the low back happy. However, suggestion to keep the right hand on the right knee and look to the right and drag the left hip forward, drag the right hip back. Gently cat belly and breathe. So each permutation needs a reset of the nervous system using the breath to reassure that everything's okay. Some of you can reach back right arm. Some of you can pick up the back foot like we did with our mermaid double foot lift earlier. If I was getting into a strength class, I'd be doing this lift, tap, and down. But instead we grab it, we're going to stretch the quad. Partly by pushing the knee away, partly by engaging and squeezing the hamstrings. Okay, so your choice of all that, then you square off, curl left toes under, hands on blocks or fingertips, and Parsvottanasana. You're going to straighten both legs. You can hop the back foot in a little if you like. Move your mic roll away. Flat back and forward. So, walk your fingers forward, reaching for that piano. Some of you might be working on a chair or even against a wall and just pressing forward to get back toward the back foot. breathe. The benefit of this forward fold is the spine lengthens. Then either using a block for your right hand or taking your right hand up to your shin. I'll use my block high. I take my left hand to my hip, start to pivot out to the left for Trikonasana. Make sure my head is level. And then pressing into the back heel, engaging the left outer hip bank. Again, the pose can be activated from the foot, feet, and I see where I can go. Left hand to hip, look down. Now you can either just step the feet together, forward fold, left foot to right, or slide your block forward, bend your right knee and take a little hop up, elevating the left leg, engaging the outer bank of hip again, and take half move. Stay there for 20 minutes or come down, forward fold. Bring the feet together, bend the knees, chair pose, and then exhale, standing. Okay, so now, many choices, but probably have a strap and probably have a chair, but not necessarily. You'll have choices. So chair people, this is always good. You can have your chair set up. Don't take a chair that's too valuable or else you'll get in trouble. And we'll have a strap ready. So, starts pretty easy in that we're going to take our left foot up onto the chair. Some of you, this is as good as it gets, and you're going to just lift your left toes, lasso around the arch of the foot, left foot with a strap, and then you're going to just straighten that leg and push the heel down and go for a water ski. So you can even bend the right knee a little bit, extend the left leg and lean back, pushing into your chair. That's the easy variation. If you don't like that or you're experiencing wobbliness, then you can take your hands to the top of the chair, bend your left knee a little bit, work here until you can begin to straighten the leg and push the heel down. That's the first one. Others go right to the back of the chair with the leg, the top of the chair, the left leg, lasso the foot, bend, again, your back knee, your right knee a little bit, and then go for a water ski. And so we're actively going to push the leg down into the surface of the chair, whether it's the chair back or the chair seat, doesn't matter. And others, of course, don't need the chair at all. They lift off, go for a water ski, lean back, and just make sure the left hip holster doesn't come up. Up to you. I like the chair, I can control it, and now I'm going to take my right hand and grab the strap ends, and I'm going to pivot my chest to the left. So I'm going to open up this whole outer bank, IT band, etc. on the left leg. Okay, to release, be careful. So you can pull on your strap and just set the foot back on the seat of the chair, switch. So again, some of you just working the right foot on the seat of the chair. Maybe take your hands to the top, slide your right leg long, bend the back knee, work here, push down. If you have the balance, you lasso around that right foot, go for a little water skiing adventure. And you're like, well, this isn't too hard, pushing down with the heel. So I'm going to take the foot up onto the back of the chair. And the heel onto the chair, and I'm going to push down with the whole leg into the chair. And I'm going to go for a little water ski. So whichever you've chosen, we're going to do a slight rotation as we did in our low lunge to the outside of the extended leg. So the right leg extended, the left hand grabs the strap ends if you've got it, and you start to just rotate from the mid-spine over to the right. Still the heels pushing down. And of course, some of the folks in class are saying, well, I don't really need a chair. I could have done the whole thing just upright with no chair, balancing, and that's good for you. Your teacher is about to fall over trying to demonstrate that. So that's why sometimes it's better just to play it safe. And that way, with the foot on the chair, the heel on the chair, I can really work the safety, the details. Then gingerly, either using your strap or your hands on your knee, set that left foot down. Okay, see how that feels? And now we're going to take it onto our back after trying one more standing pose. So you may not want to abandon the chair, but you have your choice of block or a chair for a shot at twisting triangle. Now we've just done twisting triangle, but we did it standing. So if I'm going to go chair-wise, I'm going to take my feet together first after asymmetry, hands on the chair, walk the feet back, bend the knees, open the chest, and do a chair dog. Those that aren't using a chair can take a simple downward dog for 5 breaths. Just to regain a sense of symmetry, both feet, both hips. You can walk in toward your chair or feet to hands if you're in down dog. Bend your knees and come up. So twisting triangle, we're going to step our right foot back, square the hips. And we just, again, did this pose, but imagine we had a strap around that front foot. And we're pulling on it. Instead, the right arm comes up and finds the chair. Could be the top of the chair, could be the seat of the chair. But still, you have this sense of, if I had a strap around this front foot, of lifting up through that leg. And then you rotate your chest over to the left. So I'm just going to show you. I don't want you to do this, but here we were. So some of you who are wanting to try this action of lifting up with the arm and pushing down, extending through the leg. Same action as you dive deep. Hand can be on chair block, but you've got to have this slipping up like a knee sock, lifting up that left leg, and then you look over to the left. Now, if you can dive into the full pose, great. But have that same action that we had moments ago. Now we switch sides. So again, when you do a fold over the front leg, whether it's side angle, forward, extended forward fold, triangle pose normal. The front hip is in jeopardy of getting crushed. So again, if we were pulling up on a strap with our left hand and the right foot was resisting down, we come into the pose without attenuation, hand to chair or ground, and the other image I'm giving you is like pulling the knee sock of the leg up, the fascia up. Then you rotate. Much more important than trying to get the full pose down on the ground, collapsing, and then damaging your low back. And the front knee, wherever you are, hands to chair, step the feet together, come up. Good, so let's go down onto the ground. We'll finish off with one twist, one minor back bend, and Shavasana. So have a block handy, have a strap handy. We'll glide down. You can glide from your side body, or just lay down, hold your knees, happy baby. Take the soles of the feet together, knees wide, broaden the kidney area of the low back, maybe roll from left to right. And set the feet down, bridge pose, backs of hands down, roll the shoulders back, inhale, exhale, hips come up, knees go forward, contracting the backs of the legs once again. If you want to lift your heels in this pose, that can give you an additional action of contracting the calf muscles as well as the hammies, and then keep your hips to that height, but drop the heels down. Everything comes down, arms spread out to the sides, straight out from the shoulders. Inhale, exhale, drop the knees over to the right, head to left. Inhale to center, drop the knees over to the left, head to the right. One more now. We're going to shift our hips over to the left, roll onto our right side body like a fetal position. Left knee's over right. You want to block under your head, you can. Now we're going to take the strap into the left leg and extend it forward, just as we did moments ago on the chair. And we're going to grab the strap ends in the right hand, so that left leg comes across the body. Now, most of you would probably be better served keeping your lower knee bent, which is your right knee, as you open your twist and reach the left arm out. But those that want to do, once again, a twisting triangle can slide at a right angle to the front of the mat, your lower leg. Go easy. Inhale, lift that left leg up to the sky. You're on your back now. And release the strap. And roll onto your left side. Knees tuck in. Maybe head block. And put the strap now around the right leg. And the left hand grabs the strap ends long. I like to hover my foot off the ground. My right leg 6 inches off the ground, and I open the twist. Same pose we're doing, deep opening of the outer bank of that hip. And I could slide, some of you could slide your left leg forward for the full pose. It's up to you and your low back. Have a little conversation. Inhale, right leg to sky, exhale, release, and Shavasana. Maybe one more, pulling of the knees into the body, rolling. Otherwise, should feel pretty good to just drop into Shavasana. But of course, as always, any final poses you want to take, totally up to you. I like to place my palms on my low belly frontal hips and calm down the bandhas, the belly bandhas. Then I like to place the hands in the heart and calm down the upper chakra center. And you're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you like, restoring order and calmness to your nervous system. Otherwise, rolling off to the side, coming up to close off, and just checking in.